What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. As you can see behind me, B9 S4 Avant. So this car belongs to Damien. He kindly invited me to check out his car. So what we're going to do today is do the usual thing, walk around this car, show you the spec. This thing's got a lot of spec, trust me. And then we'll go for a drive and I'll basically give you guys a feel of the S4. This new one's got a 3-litre V6 turbo. Hopefully it should be pretty good. We've been doing a lot of 2-litre TSIs on this channel, so should make a change for once. So yeah, let's go have a look at this car. Right, people, so the B9 S4, as you can see, this one's in an Avant. Does look pretty cool. Audi estates always do, and especially when it's the fast one like this. Finished it glacier white with the upgraded alloys, and it has a lot of other options which we'll go over in a bit. A lot of them are on the inside, so we'll get to that in a second. Now the main thing with the S4 is that it has a new engine, a 3-litre turbo V6, different from the previous one which had a supercharged V6. Now I think they did that to be more in line with the current trends, and our superchargers hardly anyone uses them, so turbos are the way forward. It is in the middle of the V, which we might go over in a second and have a look at, but for now we're just going to cover the exterior. So the main options this car has, of which there are quite many, you got the matrix LED headlights which have the swooping indicators, which I'll show you guys in a bit. It's got the upgraded alloys which are very similar to the old RS4, the B8 RS4, and yeah, just generally all the usual S trimmings. There is a black edition variant, I think, or the black optics pack you can get, which dechromes it all, but this does look very nice. I myself haven't got the black optics on my S3, so I find that it differentiates the car. When it's an S variant, you know it's an S variant because of all the sort of silver and aluminium effect trim everywhere. Now on the inside it's finished in black, and I'll show you the seats in a second. They're pretty amazing, but generally the specs of this thing, you get 354 PS or 349 bhp, and you get around 369 foot-pound of torque, which is quite a lot. It's mated to an 8-speed auto as well, which is different to the old car which had an S-tronic. And yeah, just generally quite a torquey machine. I did drive it briefly for about 15 minutes on the way up here, and we're going to go for a drive in a bit, but straight away you could feel the smoothness of a big engine. You can't really beat displacement, so yeah, pretty nice. Around the back here, 4 exhaust pipes as you'd expect in an S car. Makes a good quality sound as well. It reminds me a lot of the M Performance vehicles. There's a tractor going past. You get the V6T logo, as you do, and also you get these nice S brake calipers, finished in black as they are on most S cars, and this one is also running Pirelli P0 tyres, which have a nice lip on it actually here, so it protects you from curbing. I think that's something I need on my car. Moving on to the interior. So you get all these little touches, like look at the chrome door handles. Right, so the interior is where this car has been very highly spec'd out. First of which, the Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system, which probably makes quite a huge difference. 3D sound system, I'm not so sure what the difference is to the regular normal Bang & Olufsen in the sort of smaller cars, but I'm sure it's something good. Nice Alcantara here with the stitching on the door handle. You can definitely see the difference in quality from the sort of A4 and A3 range. Super sport seats, which are standard with the cross stitch pattern as well. You can get definitely very smart. The sort of white and black theme always works. Also finished in piano black here. Most cars have aluminium here, some people opt for carbon, but the sort of piano black finish is quite classy. We'll just sit in here now. Usual stuff. Look at the way this sort of black piano trim just sort of merges in with this stitching bit here. This is the first time I saw this was on an S5 in the Audi dealership. I really liked it. Also flat bottom steering wheel, and this car's got the virtual cockpit. Now believe it or not, it's not a standard option, so that's one thing you need to get if you're going to get a car like this. Also here you've got this chunky gear lever. Like I mentioned, this is an 8-speed ZF box now. They're moving with the industry now, so the S-tronic may have been more snappier, but now everyone's using 8-speed autos. You look at all the high performance cars now, they're all using the ZF transmission, so that's what you get in here. No manual option. Keyless. And yeah, the usual trimmings. Here's the drive select button down here. The buttons are up here on the sort of A3 range, down here on the A4. And yeah, just general stuff. Heated seats, and it's got heated rear seats, and it's got all the rest of the trimmings. To be honest, very highly spec'd out. Right, so that's the interior. I think what we'll do now, we'll just go around the other side. So just showing you this bit. We'll turn on the car. Right, so let's just turn this beast on. Here's a nice big 3-litre V6. So you guys are used to hearing 4 pots on my channel, so should be something nice. Start button, foot on the brake. Right, so as you can see, it makes quite a nice quality noise. Definitely reminds me a lot of the M Performance BMW engine. It has a bit of a deeper tone though, and when you keep revving it, you do get a nice overrun. So what we'll do now, we'll finally jump in the car and go for that drive. So yeah, let's get in the car. Right people, so here we are, the S4. As you can hear, proper quality noise. I think the way we'll structure this video is we'll obviously explain how the S4s like to drive, and then give you guys a feel of how it's like compared to a hot hatch. Because the thing is, a lot of you guys nowadays, you look at a spec sheet and you decide which car's the best. Now this thing has about 349 bhp, basically around 350, right? So a lot of you guys will look at the spec and be like, okay, a Golf R has 300, the S3 has 310. Why do you need a bigger car in a state? Well, that's what I'm trying to sort of show you guys in the video, that there is a difference, and sometimes you can't beat having a bigger engine. So hopefully throughout the video we'll get to show you that. As usual, we're on this road that I always do videos on. So do let me know if you think this road's getting a bit repetitive, but I think it's a good place to test the cars. And when you've tested a variety of cars on the same road, you can sort of judge them efficiently and see which one's sort of good on this road. In terms of outright sort of suspension control, this one is an adaptive car. Now the only adaptive car I've driven so far really is the Seat Leon Cupra out of the sort of Volkswagen group. That thing did absorb the bumps quite well, even though that is quite a hard riding car. My S3 doesn't have adaptive suspension, and the Golf R didn't have it either. But so far, I mean, you can put your foot on the gas and it'll just sort it out. It's not sort of crashing everywhere. We are in dynamic mode. There is extra modes in this because it has a diff, you know, the individual settings. Now on a usual the individual settings basically are, you can sort of map which sort of part of the car you want in what sort of level. You could have the steering on comfort, you can have the accelerator pedal on dynamic, etc. But this thing has a differential setting, which is unique if you get the sport diff. And in dynamic, everything's just turned up to max basically. You should feel the diff hopefully working here. So this bend's quite... Bloody hell. Yeah, it definitely did work there. Yeah, that was different, because normally I didn't push it too much initially because I thought it might understeer, because that's what I'm used to. It just tugs it around. See, the owner has mentioned to me that it does do that, but until you experience it, you won't know. So I normally back off a bit around that bend, because I normally get the back sort of in line and then push it. But in this thing, you can just sort of just flow through. Now the sport diff, if you guys are not too familiar with it, is an option on the S4, and basically allows for proper true torque distribution across the rear axle, so you basically can get a bit more rear bias. And if you stay on the gas mid-corner, it'll actually bring the car around, so it makes it more playful basically. The normal car doesn't have that, it uses the brakes to sort of mimic that, but if you're going to go for a car like this, a performance car, you're going to want to go for the proper options, which is the sport diff and most likely the adaptive suspension as well. They make a difference to the drive. If you're going to get an S4, you want it spec'd out in more of a performance biased way, if you get what I'm saying. Right, so we're just going to chuck in this bend again, see how the diff does. I'm not used to that, you know, from an Audi. I'm not used to that. It just stays proper neutral. Like the last time I felt neutral cornering was the Focus RS. Yeah, it's weird. It just sits. You can just sit on the corner and just keep the gas planted. Yeah, it just piles on speed differently to any hot hatch. The mid-range is a lot of power. Because obviously it has 369 pound-feet of torque. That's spread across most of the rev range, to be honest. Because the way they tune these engines now, you get a nice power band. You just sit in the middle, like it revs up to about 6.5, but you never really need to redline these cars nowadays. And tuned with this sort of 8-speed box, this is a nice silky smooth surge. It does remind me a bit of the 3.5 M performance engine that you get in the M235i and the M135i. It's similar in the way it goes about its business. In comparison to the S-Tronic, there is a difference in terms of how snappy it is on downshifts. It does take just a couple of, let's say half a second more, you could put it, There's not the exact figure, but you can definitely feel that it's an auto, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the speed of it when it's upshifting is very fast. It's a nice whistling noise as well. It feels as if it's got a supercharger there as well. That must be the only turbo engine I've driven that actually makes a supercharger whine. Don't feel any turbo lag. It just goes. Like, I feel some turbo lag in my car sometimes once you're sort of leaving the mark. Essentially, when you're pulling away from a sort of traffic light or a roundabout and you haven't got the boost in, as in like you're not launching it, the car will lag. But this thing, it just seems to just go. I mean, we're going to do a launch in a second to show you again. I mean, we did a launch back just before and it was just crazy the way it just throws you to seat. It definitely feels like a 350 bhp, 370 torque car. Now, some of the cars I've driven recently, hot hatches, they apparently got so much bhp, but they're not that fast. They definitely don't feel anywhere near as fast as this, and they're supposed to be around that sort of bhp mark. But this is a proper 350 horsepower car. Brakes are good too. I mean, these country roads, you do often have to do sudden braking. So you'll just get a tractor or, I don't know, a horse come out of nowhere. And yeah, you could just stop when you wanted to, I have noticed. Overall, S-car brakes are pretty decent. I mean, if you're going to go on a track, I don't know, maybe you might change them, even on the S3s like that. Probably, they're not sort of track cars, are they? But who goes on a track on a day-to-day basis? These cars are just good road cars. Right guys, so we're just going to launch the car now. It is a very effective launch control. We've tried it a few times now, but just want to try it again. Right. Yes, a strong launch. Trust me, you guys who have hot hatches, don't discount or think anything little of an S4. You probably think, oh yeah, I've got the same power, virtually the same power. There's a way that this thing gets about its business that's different. Yeah, off the mark and stuff, or on paper you probably say, okay, oh, it's the same thing, 4.9 seconds to 60. You might think, oh yeah, my Golf R can do that, or my S3 can do that. It's not the same way. This thing, you know, the initial few hundred RPM, it just pulls you out. And one thing good about this particular S4, because it's so nicely spec'd out, you got the Bang & Olufsen, you got the Matrix LED lights, also it's an Avant. It's such a multi-purpose vehicle, and you can just do everything in it. You can use it to go to work, you can get everything in, you can go for a drive on the country road like we're doing right now. It's just a nice package. And the quality in here, there is a noticeable step up from the A3 range. From photos you can't really tell. Most people say, oh look, it's got a tactile on the screen. They say that about everything now. Most Mercs have a tactile on the screen, but it's so nicely fitted together. Everything in here is just nicely done. It's just one step above. Right guys, so overall the S4, definitely an impressive car. There's enough difference in this car to justify getting it. Now, I wouldn't say look at technical specification all the time when you're judging a car. Go out and drive one, sit in it. There's a difference between a sports saloon and a hot, like sort of a hot hatch. Say, sure, you could look at, say, 350 brake, 4.9 seconds, 155 miles an hour. It all sounds very similar. The way it drives is different, and there's so much mid-range in this. Just keeps pulling, man, keeps pulling. I do recommend going out and driving one. The S5 is maybe similar, but the owner has had to go on an S5 because he didn't notice a difference, because the particular one he drove didn't have a sport diff, so that is another recommendation, go for the sport diff. But yeah, overall a very good car and I do recommend it. So anyway guys, take care, I'll see you next video. Make sure you subscribe for more content to come, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. At least that lets me know if you like this sort of format, and let me know if you think this format's getting repetitive, because we have done it a few times now and I'm just thinking maybe to switch up a bit. But do let me know if you like the fixed sort of format, and also let me know if you have a car that you're interested in having on the channel as well. Yeah, so anyway, take care guys, I'll see you next video.